We have all heard of the beautiful Australian outdoors, and I would personally love to go there one day. But the world is starting to learn that Australia is a very hostile and cold place to those coming without a tourist visa. In the past 12 to 13 years, Australia has turned away thousands of people from their shores, fearing a possible terrorist attack. They must learn to accept those in need of their assistance. For example, in 2001, there were over 400 people on a sinking ship. Quote, 438 asylum seekers from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia, including 26 women and 43 children, are stranded at sea. End quote. In the end, the Australian government made them turn around and go to Indonesia, even after the people on the boat threatened to commit suicide. The hardest thing that someone can go through is picking up their life and putting it down somewhere else where they know nobody, don't have a job, and have no connections. Having lost people in your community like this doesn't help it, and so why not encourage people to welcome others into a community? If an immigrant or asylum-seeking person comes to a new country and finds a community of people there to help integrate them, then it can really help them. Having friends offers a sense of need and can give immigrant people the help they need to get through this rough time. As it is, there are not enough asylum seekers reaching the Australian shores to implement this plan. So while background checks and the like are fine, you cannot use them to delay indefinitely. The Australian government really should be giving these asylum seekers at least temporary visas. They've given these to about 30,000 people already, but that was only to, quote, clear the backflow. One thing that the Australian government could do to help find places for these immigrants is to build affordable housing in bulk and reserve it for immigrant or asylum seekers. This would allow asylum-seeking families to worry about one less thing and focus on getting a job or a permanent housing arrangement. One big thing when you move somewhere on short notice is to find out where you are staying. If you can relieve that stress for a year or two while a family gets situated, it makes the entire process much easier. Once a family moves out of the temporary home, it can be used again for another family. Right now, there are terrorist attacks going on in the Middle East and even sometimes in Western countries. Ever since 9/11, terror has been on the rise, and with it the number of asylum seekers from the Middle East. Australia fears terrorist attack, and so they are cutting off all immigrants from the Middle East or other terrorist-stricken countries. Quote, terrorism is on the rise, with an almost five-fold increase in fatalities since 9/11, end quote. This shows that while there is definitely a threat from terrorists, there are still more reasons to bring people in than to keep them out. The thing that the Australian government needs to do is weigh the pros and cons of keeping all these immigrants out and realize that there are tens if not hundreds of thousands of families out there that need a secure place to live and have a life. They may need to implement security measures and stop the terrorists from getting through, but they also need to offer safety and security to those families in need. In conclusion, there are many things that the Australian government can do to help these people seeking asylum, but they are not doing them.